Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and particularly on the Wurundjeri land where I am situated today, acknowledge the wonderful custodians they have been of this land and that we might continue forward in a positive and educational format. Welcome to the VC Catalyst Ask Me Anything. My name is Andrew Middleton and I get called Midsy. And please, you can call me Midsy. It's what people have done ever since I was 5 years old. And as you see from that picture, I'm coming to you from the Wade Institute of Entrepreneurship, which is situated at Ormond College, the biggest and oldest college of the University of Melbourne. It's a wonderful place, and we hope that sometime we'll meet you in person and you will join us. And I invite you to, if you haven't already, sign up to our newsletter. We only send one a month, but it has exciting information about the startup ecosystem from a founder and an investor perspective. And it goes out once a month, as I say. You'll find that on our website at the bottom. So I encourage you to sign up. And we have many events that are a great chance to meet other people like-minded like yourselves, and also to visit Ormond College, and it is a wonderful campus. Well, I'd just like to briefly, before we hear from the alumni and about the VC Catalyst, I'd just like to highlight what Wade does. We were created by Peter Wade, who made a philanthropic gift because he wanted to support founders in Australia, really learning what it means to be an entrepreneur and accelerating their careers in that space. So the Master of Entrepreneurship was born from that gift, and it is a University of Melbourne master's course that we facilitate here at the beautiful campsite. Other programs that we have include Upschool, which is about bringing entrepreneurial thinking into the classroom. We teach it in a immersive sprint format to both students and teachers. And it's a great way for them to get a feeling of what it's like to be an entrepreneur and understand the excitement and the thrill of that career pathway. We have other programs that we run for organisations, and an example being this year we ran Ag Ventures, which was a successful partnership with LaunchVic and Agriculture Victoria, and talking about it was for investor-ready people understanding how to invest in Ag Ventures and the great agricultural space that we have here in Australia, and very fortunate to be part of. However, the main program we're here to talk about today is the VC Catalyst. It is the premium early stage investor course in Australia. It was created in connection with LaunchVic as a partner. And the aim of the course is to make smart, educated investors understand that when they meet founders and they go to invest in them, it's a lot more than just putting money in. It's about giving the right amount of money in the right time frames with the right deliverable outcomes so that the founder has the best chance of succeeding and achieving their vision. And of course, Australia has a wonderful ecosystem like that. And we've been running this program now for over 6 years. I believe we're 8 cohorts down, and the impact is impressive. In that 6 years, we have had 196 alumni from Australia and abroad. That includes people from New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and we are, I was going to say Perth. We have many from Perth as well, but also have an alumnus who has joined us from Germany. Those alumni have now invested more than 117 million in the 6 years, and that's self-reported funding as a part of our reporting back to LaunchVic. People doing the program include family offices, high net worth individuals, corporate ventures, people wanting to learn about angels, and successful founders. Key part of this program is ensuring that you feel comfortable and learn about investing. So some of you out there might be a little bit nervous, have a bit of imposter syndrome. There's a lot of jargon in the startup space. This course is for you, learning how to go across investing from first check, first belief in a founder, all the way along the venture capital spectrum to mergers and acquisitions and IPO, and what your exit strategy might look like. And we are most delighted with our community and networks, which are about bringing investors together so that they can learn about what each person's investing in, do due diligence together on opportunities for startup investing into a founder, and also who might be on the cap table alongside them, and just hearing where there are opportunities. That is a key component of the course. And as I say, we've had nearly 200 people do the program, and we look forward to sharing it with some of you. We are an amazing team led by Jessica Christensen Franks as the director. The operations is all covered by Rachel Jensen, and then an incredible team that includes myself, May, Ish, and Aaron. But most importantly, we have Bruno, who is the office pet. And yeah, when you come into Wade, we look forward to introducing you to Bruno and his lovely slobbery chops. But I'd now like to hand over to Emma Tibballs and Scott Thomson to just talk a bit about the program, what it meant for them. And as I said before, if you can turn your screen on, please do. It's great that they can feel they're talking to people. And I personally thank Joanna for doing that. You'll hear from them, but then we invite you to either speak questions to them and myself, and or put them on the chat, and I will read them aloud so that they can be answered by the respective person. Scott, I'll hand over to you now. Will you like to tell people about the program, why you did it and what you've got from it, and then hand to Emma?
Yeah, thanks very much, Midzi. I was introduced to the program by Midzi. I joined in cohort 6. I did it as part of a plan to be more deliberate in my involvement in the startup community. I had supported it for years as a technical advisor or fractional CTO at times, but I wanted to be more involved. So Midzi pointed me to the course. It was a great experience. I learned a lot. I wish I had done the course before I became a founder, because I now understand a lot more about the investing community side of things. So yeah, incredibly valuable experience. Learned not just about some fairly basic stuff, but the nitty gritty as well. There were 3 great reference books that were put into the course, as well as access to local and international VCs and entrepreneurs and investors. So altogether fantastic. So I'll hand over to Emma and wait for your questions.
Awesome, thanks for that. Hi everyone, I'm Emma. I guess my why of why I did VC Catalyst, my background was in corporate finance. So I'd worked doing due diligence in the M&A space for about 4 years, and then joined a family office at the start of this year. And about a month in, my manager said, I can really do VC Catalyst just to get up to speed on, as Mitzi said, all the jargon, and I guess just the process from first when you're, well, even before even meeting a founder, actually just accessing deal flow and how you can do that. And so it was more of an upskilling in a short amount of time. That was my why. I think this might be jumping onto questions that people might have, but in terms of my experience throughout the program, I think one thing that really I really liked was the type of people that were doing the course. It solidified that it was the type of people that I want to work with, like super driven, intelligent, and open and giving, and also very fun. At the same time, like all the memes and the jokes and emojis in the chat every single day, it was just a really good energy. And then I think also, again, given that I was very new to the space, I got to hear from and meet people who I wouldn't have met elsewhere. So from like a US standpoint, there was discussions on the UK ecosystem and how that's different to Australia. And I guess just like an introduction or like a good starting point, if I was to message them on LinkedIn afterwards, hi, it's not just a random, I'm Emma from BCC. And so there's that connection from a networking, meeting people perspective. And then I think also the practical skills of term sheets and cap tables, tools that investors use throughout their process. I think that was a key takeaway and very interesting as well. But then also the still practical, but in a different sense. There was a session that I really liked on biases and understanding your psychology and what you bring to conversations. I thought that was super interesting. And that's something that I keep when I'm doing analysis and meeting founders for the first time. Sorry, I've spoken for a long time, but hopefully that answers those questions.
Fantastic, Emma. Thank you. Have your questions ready, guys. But one, and Scott and Emma and I haven't prepared anything more than you've already heard, but I'd love to ask them, what was a key takeaway or a favourite moment on the course for each of you? Start with Scott.
I loved VC maths. I'm a bit of a numbers data person, and I loved looking at the banking side of how people look at investing, because it just wasn't something I'd seen or studied before. You probably all eat and breathe it all the time, but I adored that, and taught by the magnificent Pedram, who has been very accessible as a mentor post the VC Catalyst as well. So just sort of seeing how to think about the money going into a fund and the way it all exits at various times was just incredible, a world I hadn't seen before. So I really enjoyed that.
I love that. For those who don't know, Pedram Mokran is one of the key facilitators of the program. He comes to us from VC Unlocked at Stanford, which our course is a blueprint of. But a fantastic individual and connection, and he also does mentoring for the program, post-program. And I think post-program is a key aspect of the course. Emma, what was a key takeaway or a favourite moment for you?
Favorite moment? I've got three. If I can briefly talk about
Yeah,
three,
absolutely. Please, that's what we're here for, so people can learn about it.
I reckon, firstly, it would be like joining every single morning and like the music that's playing and everyone talking in the chat with emojis and kind of just setting the vibe. And then in addition to that, like on the same vein, after we've just done a session, actually discussing it with people and hearing other people's takeaways and like bouncing off the cohort. So that's the first one. I think the second one also, in the very last week, sharing each other's mandates, like presentations. So that's kind of like the final assessment, I guess, like non-intimidating assessment, non-market assessment. But it was really nice to see everyone's like work and the learnings and how they've applied what they've learned to their investment mandate. And so that was a nice time to get together. And then I think the third was bittersweet, but the celebration dinner, because from the presentations, a group of us went out for lunch together, and that was really lovely. And then came to the dinner with everyone and some alumni and facilitators and speakers. So that was nice from a people perspective.
Given you got three, I'm going to add a second one, which is being part of the network. Like there's a lot of other cohorts that have gone through, and once you've done the course, and even while you're doing it, you're really inducted into that network, which I found and have continued to find incredibly valuable as an asset and a support.
I love that. And Scott, one reason Emma probably gave three is one of the new main facilitators, Dan Madivan, who comes to us from EcoChain. He has a point of always doing things in three. So Emma's taken away her learnings. But definitely a highlight that a key part of this course is the people involved and also the facilitators, both those nationally and coming to us internationally. So really love those takeaways. I'll throw it open. Are there any questions from people out there? Joanna, over to you.
Hi, Mitzi. Hello, Scotty and Emma. Thank you very much. For context, I come from a background of having worked in project management and marketing from consultancy and creative agencies for nearly 20 years. I am looking at, I suppose, how I can contribute to the ecosystem, be it through a family office or through an active investing entrepreneur. And so really I'm just so curious on how all the players come together and how everything fits, and where and how you determine beyond capital what other levels of support are given and what attributes and skills a founder might look for. Sorry, this is me thinking out loud, okay? I can come back wonderful. And try and be more succinct with the question. But beyond capital, what are the attributes and skills and experiences a founder may look for in a VC? Because it's a two-way track, and I think with the number of startups and scale-ups and then the number of acting investing family offices or VCs, there's got to be more points of deciding who's the right partner, and that is beyond capital. So once like through that courting relationship, what does it look like? How do VCs need to present beyond having the buckets of cash? And then when the relationship is established, are there metrics and measurements put in place to know that it's a good, solid partnership when things are going bad as well as when things are going good? So there's a lot, but look, we could basically just start
I know, of course,
beyond
Joanna,
capital.
I know, of course, you should do it. It's called the VC Catalyst because all of those things will definitely be covered. But why don't we start with Emma from someone who does this daily from her role as in a family office and just touch on those points. Emma, there's a lot there, obviously, and we could probably have a whole conference on that.
Yeah, that was covered in a few sessions during the course, but then also I see it every day, like where I get to work. But yes, definitely there's more than just financial capital. There's so much, like from a network perspective, advice, because for example, like family office wise, we've got around 40 portfolio companies. So if an early stage startup is going through something, we've probably seen a similar instance previously. And so that's why and I think this was when Dan, one of the facilitators, did like a mock founder, like initial meeting, and he highlighted like average check size, yes, but then all the other things from a network perspective, and maybe it could be subject matter expertise, perspective, or like technical, I don't know. But yeah, so definitely, yes, it's more than just a check. And then possibly to answer your second part of that question was and again, one of the sessions was like post investment, like relationship or behavioral actions or whatever. And it's like having quarterly catch ups and monthly updates. And then in that, from our perspective, we always ask, how can we help? Like, is there anything you need help with? Whether that be like, no, we're all good. It's just to kind of show that we're not here adding any pressure, but we're here for any issues that you might have, because we'd rather be communicated early, as you said, through the good times and the bad times, or the challenging times. I don't know if that answers your question. I hope that does.
Yeah, it does. I've heard that a lot of getting timely investor updates can sometimes feel a bit like pulling teeth, and it's not always a reporting or a communication rhythm that is that time is made for. So I suppose,
I guess that's just part of expectation management when you're like initially discussing the relationship and kind of what you're wanting to put in and what they're wanting to put in, etc. As the two-way relationship goes, then it's the clear want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Scott, did you have anything you wanted to add on to that?
Just what you taught me in the course, not to give away any free IP, but if you want to make these big returns, you can go to any casino in the world and bet on roulette. But the problem is the odds are fixed, and what you bring as investors with skills, Joanna, like those, is you help juice the odds. So you can't play any table, but the tables you can get on, you juice the odds with your skills, experience, networking, as Emma said. And with respect to things like marketing, 2/3 of the companies that you invest in, this is the VC math, will probably go bankrupt in the first 2 years. And most of those will go bankrupt because they can't get their value proposition through to their target market. So marketing and cost of acquisition and lifetime value of customer and all the things and hopefully love are of immeasurable value in helping juice the odds in your investments if your investments will listen. And they should, because they should. I've met lots and lots of founders, and some say, I don't want the money. And I say, that's fantastic. Go to the VCs anyway. Right, because if you don't want the money, you want to be asking what else do the VCs give you to make you successful. And if you don't want their money, they'll want to give you more money. So yeah, it's a big thing that you bring as investors if you have those skills. So don't ever feel shy about putting them forward.
100%. Great advice from both of you. There's a question from Daniela asking about valuation and how much of the course covers valuation, particularly from pre-seed and seed. Obviously, I can put my 2 bob in, but Scott or Emma, would you like to firstly touch on that one? From your perspective, how you found the valuation component of the course?
Do you want to take that, Scott, first?
Definitely, you go first.
Oh, me go first. From memory, I remember it being touched on at a high level because I think a lot of the BC maths and cap tables and term sheets was covered at a high level, given that it's such a broad topic that you can delve into more so later down the track. Given that it's a large topic, I'd have to go through my notes specifically to look at how valuations were talked about in the course. As a caveat, Gandel invests mandate Series A, and so we don't really look at valuations. That's probably why I don't use it on the daily. That's probably not very helpful.
So one of the things that resonated with me from the VC maths is the importance of the percentage of ownership and the terms under which that percentage is granted. And that's probably far more important than the actual valuation. Because at the end of the day, the only valuation that matters is the liquidity event and how much percentage you hold at the end of that, right? Everything else is, to put it bluntly, imaginary money, right? So you're looking at your funds and the amount of money they're worth, and that none of these have exited yet. There was companies worth $400 million that went fut overnight because of no fault of their own, just because of luck, timing, changing market conditions. So really it's the percentage. And one thing that came out is, it's probably worth paying more, or if you're a founder asking for more for the same percentage, it's the percentage that matters. That when you get to the liquidity event, that's all that matters, is what percentage you get. So I wouldn't worry so much about the valuations. And I think there's a lot in the literature around, things like triple, double, double. But does every startup go through those phases? Is it, we talked about down rounds and the advantages and disadvantages of down rounds as well when expectations aren't met. So again, I don't know that the valuations are ever anything more than a guesswork to justify an amount of money at post-value percentage. So I wouldn't be too concerned.
And look, and just to add on to that, Daniela, the course also goes into the importance of how you structure and set up term sheets or your short notes, whatever form of document you're using, to make sure that there are opportunities for follow-on, for instance, for family offices or corporate ventures to come in later, because as Scott said, it's the liquidity that matters and the percentage you own at that time that's really important. But all of this goes into detail, particularly in the second week. Pedram touches on a lot of that, and I think it's Kylie Fraser as well, who comes to us from Flying Fox. Thank you very much for that question. Peter, you've just come on screen. Have you got a question for us? Oh, we've lost him. I was going to ask you, Scotty and Emma, what advice do you have for anyone who's considering the program to, ensure that it's right for them? What would you talk to them about, and what due diligence should they be doing about the VC Catalyst to encourage them to come on?
I'm going to jump in first. I think figure out your why as to what you want to get out of the course, acknowledging that it's tailored to a broad set of people. And I guess anyone who is looking to learn more about the investment process, where to get deal flow from, again, the practical tools as well as the more softer skills, I guess. But so because it's so broad, figuring out what you want to get out of it. Like for example, the course that I did earlier this year, there were angel investors, family offices, people in the innovation team of their corporate organization. So yeah, a wide range of people looking to get out particular things.
Yeah, I think you need to have a clear why about why you want to do it, and you want to be deliberate about doing it. I I said I did it because I wanted to get more involved in the startup community, and as a result, at the tail end, I'm not only in this network, I've bought into a unit in a wide fund with Startup Bootcamp. I've also joined 2 other networks as a member, which has minimum investment per annum requirements. So it really has changed me from being a innovator and a founder to being a more active proponent. And the way I'd put it is I could put all the money on myself, or I could do a spread bet across a lot of smart people, and I'm taking the spread bet option at the moment. Probably haven't been cured from being a founder, but I can come back to you later on if we join the same network, if I ever do that. But yeah, I would say that's number 1, and number 2 would be it's a half day for each of the 2 weeks, I think, Midzi, if it's the way it was when I ran it.
Correct.
Make sure you make it every day. Don't let anything invade that time, and if you can, protect a couple of the afternoons as well, so you can do the work as you go along on your investment thesis. It's not a graded piece of work, but I think it's a piece of work that's worthwhile for you personally to get right, because it does describe the why you want to invest in and what you want to invest. So it's worth making sure you put the time into that.
Yeah, I love that, Scotty. And I'll double click on that because I think this is it is an exciting moment where you're going to have a cohort, and we cap our cohorts. We like it to be, it's capped at 30, but we like around 20, 25, because that ensures everyone's getting to know each other in the room. And this is your chance to meet like-minded people who want to invest in an exciting stage in founders who are going out to impact the world, and to meet people who are like-minded. And that's, it's a rare opportunity in life when you can meet, such an exciting group of people who have incredible backgrounds themselves, as Scott touched on, family offices, founders, successful founders, corporate ventures, high net worth individuals, and coming together, people who are trying to positively impact the world. I think it's an exciting moment. And plus, as Scott said earlier as well, if you've done the pre-reading for it, it makes every day that much more impactful because you are a part of the conversation. And you all bring your skills and your careers with you, which it makes for a great cohort experience.
Yeah, definitely do the pre-reading. Absolutely do the pre-reading, because there's no time to read during the course.
There is not. It is a very intense course. It is a fun course, as Emma pointed out too. You've both touched on this. It's a part of, Emma, your career, and Scott, you've made it a passion project. What other ways have you applied your learnings post VC Catalyst that, you've found inspiring? Emma, is there any personal aspects outside of your family office work?
One thing that I didn't mention before, but it's like continuing on from the course, is the mentoring calls that happens afterwards. I've really enjoyed those because 2 of them, one's been someone in New York and one's been someone in Nashville. And so hearing their perspectives on their ecosystems and what got them into VC. And I think also it refuels the fire that I had at the end of the course, to continuously learn and improve and learn more. I think they're the kind of the continuous takeaways that I've had.
Did you want to touch on the lunch and learns? Did you make the last lunch and learn, Emma?
I didn't make the last lunch and learn, but yeah.
I heard it was exceptional. Is that right, Scotty?
Yeah, I turned up to the last one. It was great. I was speaking, so thank you. I'm sure there's a recording lying around somewhere.
Just to put that into perspective for those who are looking to do the course, post-program follow-up continues, and at Scotty's expertise is AI, and so he spoke to that. We had 50 people of an alumni of 200 join that, and I unfortunately was overseas and missed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the recording. But you can appreciate it's a very tight but active alumni, even once you've done the course, and it's what helps make it. And as Emma pointed out, there's ongoing mentoring and opportunities to meet people who you're now, investing alongside or seeking advice from. Are there any other questions from people?
I've got an answer to that question as well. One of the things I kept saying through the course is, why don't you train entrepreneurs in this stuff? Because the founders are often misaligned to the way the investors are thinking. And I repeatedly, the big VCs, kept saying it's not our job to educate the founders. So one of the things I've been doing is educating founders and how to think about their businesses and whether VC is even the right target for them, because there's a lot of naivety on the entrepreneur side. So that's something I've taken on as a bit of a passion project post the course, is just to train founders when to seek VC and when not to. And as I said before, when to ask for money or not ask for money, but ask for the other stuff that the VCs have. So it's been a really good education for me. I think if I'd had the knowledge when I was at last a founder in the mid 2000s, it would have ended very differently, or at least the journey would have been very different.
Scott, you probably are aware because of the WhatsApp group that all alumni go on, and it has been mentioned there, but there is a new program coming out from the Wade Institute that is targeted. It's a higher level investment program, and we're very much hoping to encourage founders to do it, because exactly what Scott mentioned, founders should be aware of how they take money, who they take it from, and at what level, and is VC right for them? That course is called the VC Fundamentals, which you'll hear about towards the end of this year, and we're very excited about that because what it offers at a much higher level than the VC Catalyst, but is a great opportunity, particularly for founders or people who are newer to the ecosystem.
Hopefully a lot less wasted coffee.
People out there, do you have any further questions or things that are nagging at you? Or this is a great opportunity to speak to alumni who've done the program, or myself. If you do, please come off mute or put it in the chat. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to say my name is Midzi. I welcome any of you to reach out to me. And if you're interested in the course or understanding more about VC and angel investing, I'm available. I love meeting people. That's what I do. That's why I'm passionate about my job. And I love what it creates in this ecosystem, smart money supporting founders to achieve great things. So please reach out. I'd love to hear about your careers and why you have joined us today and what you're interested in. So if there are no further questions, I'd like to, there we go. Thank you very much, Ish. We've now got the information is up there. You can scan that with your mobile phone, or of course, you can go to our website. I'd like to thank Scott and Emma for their feedback and just being great members of our community. Yeah, we hope that you'll join them soon. So thank you very much. Thank you, Peter. And I hope you all go on and have a great day and reach out soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. Reach out and connect whether you do the course or not, but I'd love to have you on my network.